of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, roll call, please.
Clark,
Here.
Rodriguez, Height,
Here.
Inman,
Here.
Moretto,
Here.
Nedrow,
Here.
Schneider,
Here.
Thorne.
I motion that we excuse Brandon and
Frederick?
Scott. Yep.
A second.
They notified us that they were not going to be here.
Okay, motion by Nedrow, second by Moretto. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye. Glad you kept your germs at home. That's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Right?
Sure. Also, would like to hear a motion for approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay.
A second.
Motion by Lindman, second by Snyder. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Brings us to item 5, approval of the minutes from October 28th, 2021.
So move.
Motion by
Second.
Nedrow, second by Moretto. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, thank you. Public hearing, we have none. And correspondence,
We have none.
none. We do have call to public and public
Yep.
there, so I hear a motion to open to the public.
So move. We open to the public.
Motion by Nedrow, second by Moretto, in favor?
Aye.
And if you've come to our meeting tonight and have something to say, please stand up and say your name and address, and try and keep it short if you can.
Seeing none.
There we go.
Motion to close.
Okay, motion by
Second.
Nedrow,
Or
second
you
by...
want- I'm sure you're going to be able to speak during.
Okay. Second by Lindman, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to item 9, new business. A, Board Applicant George Weber. If you've had a chance to review his application, very exciting to have someone like George come on board. And George, if you'd like to introduce yourself and say why you think you could be a good planning member, you're welcome to do so. Sure.
Sure, that'd
yeah.
be great.
So I think I met, well, I did not meet Kathy before the meeting, but met everybody else. So obviously, my name is George Weber. I've been a resident of Wolverine Lake, the village, for, it'll be 30 years in April. I'm originally from Cincinnati, my wife and I. I am a Lions season ticket holder, but a Bengals fan, so if you want to question my judgment, I'll understand. I'm also a trustee for Commerce Township, and I'm a member of their planning commission. I'm the board liaison from the board to the planning commission. I have passed, or I have attended anyway, the Michigan Association of Planners training. I've also gone through some zoning training just to familiarize myself with the process and some of the regulations and requirements. Prior to retiring, I worked for Ford for 32 years, most of that in the sales and marketing side, specifically parts and service. Lived overseas for a couple of years. We kept our house. It might have been the house that had numerous parties, as my daughter was living here going to state solo. But everything was left standing. I think I would be a good applicant for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm familiar with the position. Two, I'm in love with the village. Don't see us moving anytime in the foreseeable future. And I think, maybe most importantly, I think I can be more of a communication link between the village and the township. So we obviously have a bit of a symbiotic relationship, but we really are very separate. You know, there is not a lot of communication, and there are a lot of things we can and probably should be communicating about. At one instance, we are just kicking off our master plan for the township, and having that information through the process be shared with the village, I think would be very important, one, for input, but two, just to see if there's any changes that are going to be going on around the village. So I think trying to be respectful of time, I think that's, I've said my piece and am happy to answer any questions to the best I can.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, and we're just finalizing our master plan, so the timing fits well. And, yeah, that's all good. Ford's a good proving ground, I can attest to it. So.
Right?
Yes, I can read a financial statement.
When you were dealing with parts, did you ever have trouble with Utica trim plant stuff?
I'm sorry, trouble with?
Utica trim plant stuff?
So
It wasn't me.
One of my first jobs was as a zone manager here in Michigan, which is zone manager is the person that travels around to the dealerships and is responsible for warranty costs, customer concerns. And I can tell you that if it was a large repair, something that came out of Utica, I would actually put the part in my trunk, and the trim plant was kind enough to swap it out, which worked for both of us. Didn't get charged as a warranty claim for the dealer, and Utica didn't get it charged back as a warranty claim as well.
You're
So,
a good guy. Thank you. Probably why we stayed open as long as we did.
There you go.
all right, well, thank you very much, George, appreciate it. So, all right, unless anybody has any other discussion, I would like to hear a motion to recommend to council that we approve George's application to the planning commission.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
All righty, motion by Moretto, second by Lindman. Any discussion?
Hey, Tab, just a question. When would that term expire?
12/31/23.
There you go.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, thank you very much, George. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
help we can
Welcome.
get.
Yeah.
And so his next step, the council would
Council's gonna, yeah, council, it'll go before council, February.
So you would actually come to next
He'd be the next
month's
February 24th meeting.
He'd be in-
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to new business item B, site plan review for 1211 Glengarry. You should have all gotten in your packet a nicely done report by Carlisle Workman. And there are recommendations that need to be addressed. And Sally, would you like to make any comments on that, or take her away, as they say?
I certainly can. I'll just do a summary of the review that you received in your packet. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Sure, again.
Yes.
Okay, very good. We did review the proposals for either putting in a new patio or putting an awning over an existing patio, which is a question we have. At the Glengarry Inn, in the front along Glengarry Road. And that would be a permitted use because the site was rezoned to commercial not too long ago, as you may recall. And this particular use is now permitted use on this site. So we reviewed the plans, and we did have a number of questions of information that we need to evaluate the proposal. And I'll just list those things. We need the height of the proposed awning, an accurate area dimension covered by the proposed awning. As I mentioned, confirm if the patio is existing or a new patio is proposed. Provide an area dimension of the building, and the reason we need that is we need to be able to calculate the required number of parking spaces. And another thing that needs to go on the survey is the existing number of parking spaces, and that is just to confirm that the new use will be able to be accommodated with parking. We did ask for the status of the liquor license for the new patio. Now that really is out of your purview. That's really got nothing to do with planning. But the reason I mentioned it was because my understanding is, and the applicant can clarify this if I'm wrong, but my understanding is for outdoor liquor use, the liquor license control folks require some type of barrier around the area where people are drinking, and so not just anybody can walk in off the street. So the applicant can confirm that. But that is the two main issues besides the informational issues. The two main issues are, one, the location of the awning is in the front setback along Route 1. And if they want to have the awning in this location, I think it's 4 or 5 feet into the setback. If they want this location, they're going to have to get a variance because it is inside the setback and that's not permitted. And then the second main issue is the ordinance does require landscaping along roadways. And there is no landscaping in front of this patio, as you well know. It's a vehicular maneuvering lane. There's no curb between Glengarry and this patio. And I think I said maybe 4 times in my review that there needs to be some type of permanent barrier to protect the diners from wayward vehicles coming onto the site. You may recall when the Dairy Twist added their awning at their site for an outdoor eating area, they did have bollards around that eating area. So it was a protected area, and anybody eating ice cream in that area was not going to be hurt by a wayward vehicle on the property. So we're recommending the same thing here, and the applicant can suggest if bollards are not appropriate or desirable, maybe heavy-duty planters or some other kind of substantial barrier, I think is necessary to protect the diners from vehicles. Now, they had in the rezoning application submitted a site plan or a drawing sketch that is in my review that shows that curb and landscaping is going to be added in front of the Glengarry Inn. And I'm interested if the applicant is still proposing to do that, and if they are, that would satisfy the requirement for the landscaping. If they're not planning on doing that, and they're not planning on putting in any landscaping, they are going to need a variance for the landscaping. However, that still doesn't eliminate the need to protect the diners from vehicles with some type of, substantial barrier. And that's my review. Does anybody have any questions?
There was also, maybe you misspoke it, but I missed it, about the lighting. Did you talk about
yeah. Well, and yes, they should be providing any lighting if any new lighting is proposed. But lighting often is one of those items that the building inspector can review and make sure is compliant. It's relatively minor when you're talking about land development. But certainly it is a requirement of a site plan, but that certainly can be handled by the building official.
Now, the awning's already installed, it's built. I just drove by there and, right, there's red awning on the front of the, yeah, just to clarify.
Well, it hasn't gotten the appropriate approval, so that's, I'm sure, why they're here.
Yep.
Yes.
Is the applicant in the audience?
Yep,
Yes.
here.
Okay, good.
All right, well, thank you very much, Sally. Nice job on the review, and you guys have a list of this, or do you need a list of this? We can get you a list, no problem.
Can we just give her Sally's report? Is there any reason we can't
Yeah,
share that?
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
And that way you can address those issues, and you guys should be in good shape, I would
Some of
think.
those are already addressed, but we'll just address everything all at once and present it.
Yeah. And, any one of us that wants to give up their sheet could donate to the blanket. I've got mine electronically.
That's got it.
Site plan review?
Oh, perfect, thank you, Tabitha.
Can you address all this stuff tonight? I mean,
Other than the variance, but I think everything else we can address, like, we've already gotten permission from,
yeah, so maybe speak, state your name and address, yeah.
My name is Linda Blankenship. My address is 745 Laguna Drive, Wolverine Lake, but I'm speaking on behalf of the Glengarry Inn at 1211 Glengarry Road.
Perfect.
I don't remember the order of everything, but we've already, first of all, I want to apologize for having it already done. I misunderstood something. I thought the only thing we were missing when I pulled out the last report, when I tried to get it done the last time, it said it was denied because of zoning problem. So I know that we had gotten the zoning changed, and then we are working with Mary Grove Awning, who said, we've been in the business for 45 years, you don't have to worry about the site drawing, we do it all the time. I've done a million of them. And we had been in the queue already twice with them. The queue is 8 to 10 weeks. So we are now 20 weeks out, and the date was coming up in a couple days, and I thought all we were missing, I thought we had everything. So Tabitha and I had talked, and we were missing a more detailed site plan, and they promised they were going to have that to me tomorrow. I was also going out of town that next day, so I apologize. That's completely my fault, and I misunderstood. So with that said, we had addressed already with the state about doing outdoor dining. They said it was no problem at all. They gave us permission. That's what started the ball rolling, 8 to 10 weeks ago. And then we do have a fence that's going to go around the outdoors to protect people, of course, from cars. We also have bumper, I'm not sure what they're called, like you pull up your car to, that goes far enough back that no matter what, a tire is going to stop it from getting anywhere near that fence or those people. We haven't had anybody come out there yet because we haven't installed the fence and gotten all of our permissions and everything like that. So, I know I'm blushing, but hopefully we get all that addressed. The variance is, again, I had this whole site drawn, and according to the Mary Grove Awning, they were like, oh, this is going to be perfect because it's space you already have. We're not making new space. We already had the cement flooring that it's going to cover, and it literally just covered that. I didn't make it any bigger or smaller. And so again, I thought that was perfect. We have already this space, and so we did not get the variance. So we need a variance, I guess, for the Woodlawn side. It is lit. It's lit underneath. What else are we missing?
We can add the landscaping.
Oh, the landscaping. I've already contacted the landscaper. His name is Jay Steinkopf. I can give you his information. We are doing different drawings. He wanted to wait until the fence was up so we can landscape all around that. And so that shouldn't be any problem. Am I missing something still?
So I guess, Linda, just to clarify, are you going to be landscaping out on the Glengarry side?
We're landscaping the whole building.
Okay. But there'll be like a buffer?
Yes, there will be something, yes, on the land.
Basically like what you had on your sketch that you proposed? Okay.
And then the other issue Sally raised was on the parking, and the sketch does detail out the parking spaces that they have.
The parking is tricky at the Glengarry Inn, but our thoughts about that was we're not really trying to add to the Glengarry Inn. I'm trying to give people a choice. Some people don't want to eat indoors, and they want to eat outdoors. So I can't really have more people than I have spots for. Sometimes the spots are full. It's full. No more people come. But some people can sit outside, some people can sit inside, and also gives us a way to socially, people who are still nervous about virus and things like that, there's more space they can separate.
Yeah, agreed. And with the way hiring contractors are during this time, I mean, you almost have to jump on board when you can. So it's completely understandable, what happened to you guys. And already the building improvements look fantastic.
Thank you.
I can only imagine how much better it's going to look when you get your landscaping in and everything else. So definitely improving the community by what
I think
doing.
once, also this particular landscaper frequents my bar, and he tells me all the time, every time I walk in, I'm so embarrassed that this is my bar and it looks like this, so I can't wait to landscape. So the landscaping, I think it's going to be really nice. I think the Glengarry Inn will look really nice. It'll be a nice addition to our neighborhood once all is said and done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For explaining that.
Yeah, and the landscaping, if that takes till spring, yeah, that's understandable too. You know, now that the ground's frozen and everything, I mean,
There probably won't be anyone out there until
Right.
yeah, that
early
too.
summer anyway.
Right.
So Sally, is that,
That's the best way to
is that
proceed.
going to be enough information, do you think, that,
You know, I'm going to recommend that the applicant put all that in writing, amend the plans that they provided, indicate how they're going to be doing all these things on the plans and resubmitting them to the village.
okay,
I mean, it sounds like they've got all the answers, that they
Right.
know what they're gonna do. It just needs to be on a plan, in writing, and on file with the village. And I would not recommend that you approve it until you get that information and you can see it.
Okay.
Agreed.
okay.
Okay, so,
So then I think you probably have to get back, Sally, you wanted the size also then? Size of the building, right?
Yes, and now, I'm assuming they did receive a copy of our review.
Well, they did now, yeah.
Did just
They
now.
got it now,
Yeah.
yeah.
On
So
that last page.
you should be able to go through.
we just gave it to them.
We will address all issues on here in writing. And submit to the
Okay.
There
council.
should be the size on, if it's not on there, the one I
We'll,
submitted,
we'll
it'll
go
all be.
line by line.
Yep.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good deal.
So, just to be clear, you know, any information that is not shown in an illustration of the plan should be in a memo, and the plan itself needs to be amended to show the parking spaces, where the bumper blocks are going, where the fence is going, an accurate, you know, size of the patio, accurate size of the awning. So those two items need to be amended.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
I don't know if she can hear me without a microphone, but I don't know how to show you the parking spaces without, because we're on a septic.
We can just put them into the, by whatever the,
You know, I could suggest, you do have a landscape contractor.
Yes.
He may be able to assist you with, they do drawings of sites all the time, you know, they have to show people how they're gonna landscape their site. And, you do have, I think you do have, a survey that you provided. So, he could assist you in measuring your, and I know your parking lot is a gravel lot, so you don't have lines or anything, but, he could assist you in measuring out the lot and, putting that information on the drawing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks again for the great job on the improvements. Looking good.
Yeah.
Could I suggest that the planning commission, pass a motion that you're referring the application back to the applicant for, the information requested this evening?
Yes. Anyone want?
So moved.
A motion by Nedrow.
Second?
Second by Moretto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, thanks again, you guys. That brings us to new business item C, the 2021 annual report, Michigan Planning Enabling Act, review and recommend to council. Again, Sally has done a nice job on that, and Sally, if you'd like to speak about that, it'd be great.
Sure. This is a report on the activities that occurred at the Planning Commission in 2021. Hard to believe, it's already 2022. And it is a requirement on the Michigan Planning Enabling Act that all planning commissions provide this to their legislative bodies. So that would be the village council in this case. So I essentially summarized the work that you had done last year, and I'm happy to make any modifications if you see anything that needs changing.
All right,
Looks good.
Yeah, I thought it looked
Nope,
really
sounded
good
great,
too,
yeah.
so I guess we'll hear a motion to recommend to council on that also.
I'll move that we recommend to council the approval of the 2021 annual report on planning commission activities.
Oh,
Support.
All right, motion by Lindeman, second by Moretto, discussion? Motion carries. Thanks again, Sally. Okey-doke, that brings us to pending business, so we have none. We have old table business, the master plan update. Are we going to take that off the
Yep.
table?
We got some information back from,
Okay, so I'll hear a motion to untable by Nedrow, second
Second.
by Lindman. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, and that new information, oh yeah, I see.
we got all the stuff back from Oakland County.
Oakland County Economic Development.
Right.
Road Commission.
Do you want to go again, Sally, on that? Okay, thank you.
You may recall that you had moved the master plan onto the village council so that they could approve it for distribution to the neighboring communities, Oakland County, various agencies in Oakland County, SEMCOG, etc. And they went ahead and did that, and village staff sent the draft document out to those entities. And the village did hear back from Oakland County Planning as well as Oakland County Road Commission. And in the memo that introduces those comments, there's also some modifications presented by the village administrator. So most of those things are just little corrections, nothing that's big sweeping changes. And same with the road commission's comments, they're just some minor tweaks to the language to accurately describe the meeting that they had with the village in 2021. Now, the comments provided by Oakland County Planning are more extensive, and I can go over those if you like, but I want to say first that you are not required to make any changes at all. The only thing that you're required to do is ask for these comments and consider them. And if you are not interested in making any of the changes that Oakland County Planning suggests, you are not obligated to. So anyway, they always do a really great job. They have a terrific planning staff at the county level, and this review by them is a requirement of the Planning Enabling Act. And the key thing on this memo that a planner always looks for after the county has reviewed the plan is that the proposed plan is not inconsistent with the plan of any city, village, or township that received notice of the draft plan. That's what you want to see, because that's what the Planning Enabling Act requires. So your plan has to not be inconsistent with neighboring communities. And this document says your plan is not inconsistent with neighboring communities. So we're good to go there. But they did have recommendations about modifications, which will take some time and research. And I can go through those briefly, or you can just discuss them however you like.
Yeah, most of their recommendations were around infrastructure, documenting who has the authority to maintain the dam and things like that, which I'm assuming is just our DPW. I don't know, I mean, they were good suggestions, but I don't know that they had enough value that they'd be worth really changing it.
Yeah,
what we have in plan.
I agree.
right
I mean,
now.
Yeah, and we also review the master plan and update it at regular intervals, so that could always be done at the next review and update too.
Right.
You know, how far it's far along enough, Sally, that it would to do these minor changes would, not be a good idea at this time, wouldn't you think?
It's completely up to you.
It's up to us, yep.
Because this hasn't been submitted out to
Go
the
ahead.
public or
Right, the next,
anything like that.
one of the next steps, once we're in the final form, is to have a
Right.
public hearing and give people a chance to comment on it.
One suggestion, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you
No,
guys,
go ahead.
sometimes I'm having trouble understanding you, it's a little garbled. So one suggestion I could make that would be relatively simple, for example, they recommend that the village look into having some kind of hazard mitigation plan. Well, what we could do in your actions table is have that be an action. Village looks into creating a hazard mitigation plan, and not necessarily include hazard mitigation information in this draft of the
Right.
master plan, but it can be a goal as a future activity. Same with invasive species management, and also the infrastructure information. You know, we certainly could add that as a goal, that and that we'd need Mike Powell's help with that to really kind of come up with some good descriptions of your current systems and some of the goals that you have for those current systems. So, you know, we could make these things, rather than do them now, we could add them as goals. to your
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Sounds like a smart way to go.
action list.
Yeah. All right, is everybody in agreement on that action?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll hear a motion to table at this point until that can be done, and then we'll untable next month and take it from there? Okay?
Okay.
All right, who wants to
And
motion?
what I'll do is I will make these modifications, you know, the small kind of typo changes that were identified, as well as the road commission's small comments.
Right.
And then I'll update your action table, and you can look at it next month.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay, ready for a motion to table master plan updates?
I move we table the master plan update.
Motion by
Support.
Snyder, second by Lindman, discussion?
Second by
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quite all right.
Second by Clark.
Clark.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. That brings us to liaison reports. Council, please. Brian?
Well, first of all, in November, since we haven't met since October, November, we, council, re-upped the waste management, or GFL, recycling agreement and yard waste, solid waste agreement. Let's see, we held a public hearing on CBDG funds, which we programmed in, I think it was December, wasn't it, Tab? Yeah. Okayed a couple body microphones for the police department, and the chief gave the chief approval to go ahead with a new 22 Durango, price of 35 grand. So that was basically in November. December, we had our audit presentation from our auditor, which came across well. We're still in good financial shape. And we approved future conduct to go on the Cliff Patrol Memorial. So that was about December. And then this last month here, basically, it was a short meeting. I think it was like, what, 25 minutes? It was a record.
Oh.
But we had Commerce Township, in fact, came and explained how they were going to put this new entrance into Hickory Glen Park across the street. They're putting a new entrance in right across from basically Village Hall opening here. That'll be going in, so they'll have two entrances, and they'll have a acceleration lane going in off that entrance, so it might help some of the traffic keep actually turning into the public launch too. So, and I think they're going to move ahead and pave all the roads in there too, aren't they, George?
No, just, we'll only pave.
Just the entrance?
Just the entrance.
Okay.
The rest of it natural.
I thought they were talking about paving it, putting.
We're going to try to mitigate the dust.
Yeah, yeah.
No maintenance.
Okay. So, and then Tabitha, we gave her a service award for 10 years with the village. And also, we're going to be applying for Oakland County Park Grant, which is another matching grant. We received that $100,000 grant through the MDNR for Clara Miller. So we're hopefully applying for the Oakland County grant, which is 75 grand, and that'd be another matching grant. But that's for an infrastructure grant and trailways, so we might be able to use it for paving or whatever. So hopefully that's coming forward. And then February, we're having our budget work session, so we'll be going through that. But through the American Recovery Act, the village is going to be getting around $500,000+ from the feds and the state for us to spend. So we're going to be looking at projects and stuff that we really need, infrastructure-wise and some goals that we've had in mind, so we're gonna be looking at how to spend that money here down the road, so I think we have to spend it through 2024, I believe, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Exciting.
Will they be using it for that non-motorized pathway on South Commerce between Benstein and Full Green? I see it mentioned a couple times in here that it's been a,
well, I know, we've been looking into it, so we'll see where, that's gonna cost a lot
Yeah, I was
of
about to
money.
say, I wouldn't get you
There's-
very far with that, yeah.
There's been some talk of trying to get that through, but it's going to be a long time going because there's a lot of easements and just a lot of stuff to try to get through on that. So it'd be nice to be able to do it, but I don't think that that's going to be anything that's going to be done
fit in the budget.
quickly, yeah, or
Right.
even with that money, because it's too cumbersome of a project. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be involved in trying to get that through. I mean, it'd be having to work with Walled Lake, Road Commission is another big portion of that, so, because there's no way to get it around through some of those areas around Decker there, and
Right.
so, yep, unfortunately, that's probably not going to be one of them, but I'm sure we'll be able to find some stuff to work with that for, so that's it.
Great report, thanks, Brian. Kath, did they have anything at ZBA?
They did, and I was thinking, I think it was last week, and I forgot about one of the cases, and I forgot to bring the paper, so I'll have to go off memory.
Okay.
We had 3 cases that came before the CBA. The first one was a non-conforming use home that is on the Lakeside Drive, I think, or Lakeview Drive, and they wanted to go up on the home, not outside the footprint of the home, to add a dormer and a second bedroom bath up there. And so that was approved with the provision or the stipulation that they needed to stay within the footprint of the existing, first story of the home. And then the second one was a spa, a hot tub spa on Wolverine Lake Drive, that they had gotten approval for, but then it came back after it was installed and inspected and considered to be a pool. So there was a lot of discussion about that, and that's something that they've asked, the zoning board has asked to be put on our meeting agenda to discuss looking at our ordinances for pools and hot tubs and how to adequately classify them so that they're maybe not following under the same exact requirements.
How big was this thing?
It's just a standard size spa, but because it was on, they built a little bit of a platform around it, and then they had to bring it down because it was too high, so then it got into the area of being a pool. Somehow, got classified as that, so, and I think there's some, maybe a little bit of not clarity in our ordinance on the definition between those types of things, so, and I don't remember what the third one was, so.
Don't either.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, we can find it in the minutes if anybody
Right.
wants to catch up
Sorry
on
about
that. No
that.
problem. No, it's fine. Good report. And thank you very much for being a liaison to that board. It's always interesting to hear what's going on there. And that brings us to Mr. Snyder, Water Management.
Thanks. This last meeting was the first meeting that we had where we moved from the first Wednesday of the month to the third. And that went well. The time change didn't seem to bother too much. Like a lot of other organizations, we're going to have to hang out a help wanted shingle. Mr. Mitchell Tarango left due to having not attended enough meetings, just automatically left. And Kathy Duff, our vice chair, elected to resign, citing personal obligations. With the skeleton crew that we have left, we approached, there's a process we've been looking at to look at signage that we hope might be more eye-catching in an effort to get people that put their boats in the water to actually know how fast they should go and when they should go, and what things they can run over and what things they can't. So we're taking a look at that. I think they're gonna, I don't know if they approached the board, I don't know if Ryan approached the board yet, but we're looking to use some of the money we've been allotted to maybe purchase some new signs.
With lake rules on it, basically?
Yes, yes, but it would be a different configuration, different
We'd have to
material.
go through the DNR on that, I know that.
Yeah, we knew we'd have to let them know, but hopefully it's
Or
more
get their
eye-catching.
approval
Yeah,
or anything.
yeah, get an okey-dokey, but,
Good luck getting anybody to look at it.
yeah, I know.
I mean, they're lucky they can even hit the water with the boat sometimes.
Yeah, and we're also, we were taking a look at whether or not we might want to include any kind of winter safety rules. One of the ones that we considered is whether or not there's certain vehicles that are allowed to be out on the lake. Over the last couple of weeks, I'm sure everybody's been able to see a variety of different vehicles, and I think one of our members, I think Rob Jankowski, contacted the chief to find out if there are any. I think motorcycles might be one of the ones that are, you know, you're not supposed to be out there with a motorcycle. I'm not sure why that particular vehicle is an issue.
Because it's ice.
Yeah, well,
They stud the tires.
They stud the tires.
They stud
so
tires,
there's guys-
as
Yeah, there's
long
a-
as, I mean, it's a state lake.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's under DNR
Yeah.
jurisdiction, so, I mean, I think, as far as I know, any motorized vehicle on ice on a lake in the winter needs to have an ORV sticker. I know I have
Okay.
to have one with my four-wheeler.
Oh, sure, okay.
Snowmobiles are supposed to have them, so.
Yeah.
It's state property technically, so.
Yeah, and we didn't know whether or not that might be a DNR.
So, I mean, that's a DNR thing, so, I
Okay.
mean, I don't think we would really even need to have any local ordinance. We
Okay.
could, I guess, but
Okay,
the DNR should be able to handle that.
that's what I'm thinking, whether, the chief might know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I would think so.
this and that. And the only other thing is, so a couple of us attended the class. It was, the Dave was nice enough to let us know about Eagle. Had a shoreline management course, a virtual course a couple of days ago. It was pretty interesting how to mitigate shoreline erosion and try to keep some wildlife that is close to the shore, but seawalls make that a difficult proposition. And, you know, we're looking again, we've taken a run at it before, but we'll probably take a run at the public access areas that we might be able to do something with to orchestrate it a little more eco-friendly system there without depriving the folks of good beach area. But other than that, that's about all the trouble we've gotten into so far.
Okay, thank you.
I remember what the third case was.
What's that?
I remember now what the third case was.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to go back to that, but, so a house on South Commerce Road, they had a detached garage, and the roof heights were about the same as the house, and a tree fell on the garage during the storms we had over the summer, and so the owner of the home wanted to build the garage roof a little bit taller so that he could get an actual full operating garage door in, because it was too low with the rafters in the inside the garage for it to have a full door, automated door. And so we granted the variance for that, for him to bring his roof elevation of the garage higher than the house.
That makes sense. Nice. Okay, well, thank you. I would have any announcements? If not, I would...
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Nedrow, second by Lindman. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you, everybody, for your time. We appreciate it.